So you clicked on a button on a website that said, what's my home worth? And you gave them your address and your email address and sometimes your phone number. And boom, you get these computerized program that just shoots out your home's value, just like that. Well, that's the most commonly asked question that most home sellers ask is, what's my home worth? But when you go on those websites, it's a setup. Realtors use that to hook you in, collect your data, and hopefully they get to sell your home. What they won't tell you is bad pricing, lazy marketing, and the wrong strategy. That's what affects your home's value. And all that can quickly and quietly flush money down the drain and destroy your equity even before you know what hit you. So watch this video until the end because you'll know exactly all the different things on how to get the true value of your home, not some computer-generated number, okay? Now, the information I'm going to tell you is going to disturb many realtors, and if you're a realtor out there listening, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So, do you really want to know what your home is worth? Let's get at it. Make sure you stay to the end. Some great stuff. Let's start out and talk about how these home evaluations work. I call it the realtor lead magnet game. Have you ever seen one of these? Get your free home evaluation. It looks helpful. It's not. It's bait, and it's not about giving you accurate home value either. It's nothing about that. It's about just getting your email and your phone number and where you live. And once you hand that over, your phone will start blowing up. Hey, I saw, you want to know about your home's value. Let's talk. I have buyers looking for your home just like yours. Or now's the perfect time to sell. Call me today. And just when you think they stop calling you, boom, another email, another text. That's called the drip campaign. You've just been signed up for someone's drip campaign. You didn't sign up for that. You just want to know a simple answer. You're innocent. You want to know what your home is worth. But now you're on their list. You're just another lead in their system. And what they won't tell you is that any agent who needs to beg for business and spend thousands of dollars on ads to get you to click on the link isn't really an expert. They're not pricing strategists. They're market masters. They know how to get you to click. They're like hustlers throwing out bait, hoping someone bites. They don't care about getting the highest price. They want to get a deal fast so they can make money. Now, top agents, top listing agents, like myself, I'm the top producer here in Montgomery, Bucks, Philadelphia counties, and also South Jersey. These top listing agents, they don't need to chase. You go to them. Why? Because they deliver. They price homes strategically, market them flawlessly, and they get top dollar with smooth, stress-free sales. Their business isn't based on spam calls. It's built on referrals and results and trust. That's how it works. So the real question is, do you want to work with someone who needs your business or someone who knows how to get you the absolute best result? So how do you know what the true value is? Well, I know I just sold a home. It's a pending sale. Here's his estimate. It has what? $865,200. I'm not showing the address because it's still pending. And it's pending at $930,000. So if they were using the $865 to make a financial decision to buy their next place, then they would have bought less of the house that they really wanted to buy. They would have done different things with their money if they knew they were going to get $65,000 more, right? So let's talk a little bit more about the automated valuation so you understand. Before I tell you how to get the true value, I want you to understand this, that these automated valuation tools, how they work from Zillow or Redfin or a local agent's website, they're flawed for one simple reason. They've never seen your home, never been inside. They don't know that you updated your kitchen or that you have water damage in your basement or that your home has the best view on the block. They just crunch numbers based on square footage, bed and bath count, lot size, recent sales. In my book, Home Selling Sharks, I talk about what I call the home selling sharks. And they're hidden factors that eat away at your equity. And these automated systems and house values, they can't identify those factors. They can't tell you that your knob and tube wiring will cost you $10,000 in a sale or that your sloping backyard could reduce your value by 7 to 15%. I've seen Zillow estimates off by $50,000 or more, sometimes too high, sometimes too low. Would you make one of the biggest financial decisions of your life based on a guess that could be off by that much? I just talked about that in my pending sale. Also, is that the correct number to use to strategically price your home to create a bidding war? So when it's time to price your home, don't let an algorithm decide its worth. Just trust the strategy that accounts for all the details, all the sharks in your home, all the nuances of real estate. For example, what are the rates right now? What homes are pending sale? What homes sold last weekend? What happened in the economy recently? Was there been a scare in the world? Is there a tragic incident that happened? All these factors, plus what I'm going to show you next, is what you need to know to know the value of your home. So now I'm going to get into exactly how to do it and what to be looking for. And if you're picking up some valuable insights, enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be addressing in the next few weeks a lot of the frequently asked questions and answering them one by one. All right, the juicy stuff's coming. And next, we're going to talk about the sharks that can eat away your equity, and that's when you know how to price your home. So in my book, Home Selling Sharks, I detail the factors that truly affect your home's value, okay? And I'm going to share some of them with you. And if you want a copy of my book, it's not expensive. It's $6.95. It's on Amazon, as well as my other book called Model Home Mindset, which is a book I just wrote, and it's a really good one as well. So there's 4 different categories that can affect value. Believe it or not, there's a lot. There's a lot that can affect value. And there's things that you cannot change, things that you can change, things that you might want to change based on your situation, and there's things that you must change. Let's talk about the first one. Things that you simply cannot change about your home. It's location of your lot, whether it's on a busy street or if the lot slopes down like this. Maybe your lot slopes up and your house is sitting on top of a hill. Or maybe there's a perceived undesirable neighborhood behind your house. Maybe your home does not have a basement, and most do in your neighborhood. Maybe your home is on a corner lot, like this. Maybe you're in a flood zone. That's not good, because the people have to get flood insurance, and it costs more money. Maybe your home backs up to an undesirable feature, like a high tension wires, or a big highway, or a retention pond. All these factors, these 4 things, 4 categories of things you can't change, they can affect the value of your home up to 5 to 15%. That's a lot of money, so you need to know that. So you keep listening, because I have a lot more, and you want to check off the things that you have. So down below is a link in the copy that you can click and get a copy of the things that affect value, and go through and check the ones that you have, okay, as I go through them. Then there's things you can change. There's a lot of those. I call them low-cost fix-ups that generate this high rate of return. And addressing these items before listing can significantly impact the selling price. I do this for all my listings, and I have tons of before and after photos to show you, but I'm going to show you a few here today, and all this is in the appendix of my book. For example, if your home has paneling, like this home had, you can change it out to look like this, just by painting it. Same thing goes for wallpaper, before and wallpaper after. You can see the difference. Possibly you have mold in your basement. Brown trim, paint it white in most cases. Brown doors like these versus 6 or the 2-panel doors. Too many paint colors, different rooms with all colors, or just the wrong paint color in general. No central air when most people in your neighborhood have central air. Now I have a trick for that one, so you want to definitely contact me if you have no central air, but the other neighbors have it. Maybe you have a heater that looks like it's been around since World War II, really old. Maybe your windows lost their seal, like this. Possibly you have stucco exterior that has black stains under the windows. Most likely there's moisture under there, something like this. In my book, I've got tons more back in the appendix. So these things could be addressed. They can be addressed. That's the idea. And if cost effective, will get you much more money than when you sell. Those are the things you want to look at. And there's many more. I just went through a short list that can affect your value. We do have that sharks test down below in the copy. Just click on it. And the more checks you have, the more you have to do to maintain the value of your home. Check it out. Next, the 3rd category is there are things that you might want to change, but only if they're cost effective. Okay, big things like outdated siding. So for example, asbestos siding. Just was out on a house the other day with asbestos siding, and it really needed some help. The question is, should we update that before he goes on the market? And that one will depend upon the cost and also when he's going on the market. Or maybe there's outdated electrical, or maybe you have an outdated kitchen or bathroom, something that's going to cost money to do. What can we do to that to make it look better? And again, depends upon when you're selling. Maybe you should add a garage. There's big ticket items I'm talking about. And these renovations, they need careful analysis to ensure you'll get your money back. So those things we really need to talk about. And lastly, there's things that you must change or you must address. In my book, I talk about, like active termites in the house. Maybe you have radon issues or water damage somewhere in the house or coming in from the roof or the basement. Maybe you have a malfunctioning septic tank or septic system. The whole system's malfunctioning. Maybe you have electrical hazards that have to be addressed. These things have to be addressed. Because if you don't address these things, it can drastically reduce your home's value or even make it unsellable. So if you want to know your home's value, a proper valuation takes all these factors into account. That's what I do when I go on my listings. It's something that no online tool can possibly do. So take the test. How many of these sharks do you have in your home? And I do that for all my listings. We go, well, I got this shark, that shark, that shark. And I talk a lot about these at my seminar. My next one's in May or June. You can attend in person or on Zoom. We take you through all these things. And I'm going to be doing a video about low-cost fix-ups because that is another most commonly asked questions. So now you know all these things about your home, these sharks. How do you get that pinpoint price? What's the strategy? Because in chapter 9 of my book, I detail this because it's not about pulling like a number out of thin air or just looking at comparable sales. What we do is the way to do this is test your market demand for your home from your target market, the people who are actually going to be buying it, by using pre-marketing strategies. There's so many things you could be doing before you put your home on the market. And if you list your home as coming soon, way before it officially hits the market, you can gauge buyer interest and adjust the pricing strategically even before it hits the market. What I do is I use pending sales. For example, what house sold for last weekend? I call the realtors and see if they can give me the information about what these houses sold for so that I can get an idea of what's going on with the market, because it's what happened last weekend. If you look at a sold comparison, that house sold maybe a month ago. It settled a month ago, but based on information from a month before that when it actually went under contract, because the date you want to look at is the date it went under contract, not the date it sold, because that's what the buyer and seller were willing to pay at that time. Get that? Very important to understand what was going on when the buyer and seller have made an agreement of sale. Another thing that I do is as soon as I'm hired, I create a search for comparable homes in the neighborhood, send it to my seller, I look at it daily, and I send a buyer agent over there to actually look at these homes, because pictures don't really show like beat up flooring or old heater, things like that. I have them do a video of the home, give me an idea of what that looks like, because that was our competition that just sold, especially if it sells before we go on the market. Then you can really gauge what things are really looking like before you actually put that price out there to the world. In my book, I talk about Leo, and I use this approach on all my clients. We just test the market value during that coming soon period. And if you see tremendous interest, then you could use expert negotiating to drive the price up. We got him up $21,000 over that original valuation. That's $21,000 more that Leo put in his pocket that he would have left on the table if we did a standard approach to pricing. That's professional valuation, all those things. And strategic pricing can do that for you. Because the last thing you want to do, guys, is overprice your home based on some computer-generated number or underprice it. Seems like a good strategy at the time, but basically leads to price reduced or what's wrong with me sign on your lawn. We don't want that. Or maybe a tarnished reputation, because a home that's overpriced sits on the market longer, which means it's stale, and a stale listing has the perception there's something wrong. So eventually then you're forced to lower the price by lower than what you would have put it on the market, you should have put it on the market for, or you're thinking about putting it in the market for, and then you lost all this valuable equity. So there's so much that affects the value of your home, not just one thing, not this algorithm. And there are other sharks that can affect value in selling your home. That's mostly related to the advice you're getting from your realtor, such as the marketing of the home. I call it the marketing shark can attack you, or the inspection shark, or the photography shark, which is very huge. And all this is in my book. I'm not going to go over each one in detail. But basically, your marketing shark, bad marketing. If your property isn't marketed correctly, you're going to attract low-ball offers at best, or at worst, really nothing at all. You want to market it so it generates excitement, drives up the competition, and leads to better offers, right? And the inspection shark, skipping that pre-home inspection is a risky move. That's one thing I go over at length in my book. It gives you valuable negotiating power. And then there's a photography shark. In today's market where buyers start their search online, bad photos are a huge deterrent. Blurry, poorly lit, unflattering images, all kinds of bad things. It just leads to more days on the market, because the longer your home sits unsold, the more likely you'll have to lower the price and cutting into your equities. I could keep going here, but you get the point. If you don't have a comprehensive strategy in place, you're bleeding equity. So just avoid the sharks. Get the information that you need. So Diane, what's the real way of getting your home value? Well, look at all those things. You have to know exactly what is wrong with your house. And how you do that is doing a professional in-person assessment. In my business, I call it a room-by-room review. It's in chapter 6 of my book. Basically going through the house, identifying all the sharks, and assessing every area of your home, all right? Finding out your strengths of your home, your highlights, your weaknesses, and which ones we're going to address before you actually go on the market. And then you can develop a customized strategy for presenting each space to maximize appeal to your target buyers. You can't just look at one room, or should I paint this room? Well, let me look at the rest of the house. And then you have to look at what it costs. So you have to go into the home, get the list, get the estimates for the list to decide which ones to do based upon how much it's going to cost, to decide whether it's going to generate enough value for you. That is the most important step here, understanding your good and bad. Next, you conduct a pre-marketing home inspection to identify any issues that could affect your value, and it gives you time to adjust the items, get the cost of the items, and then if you do it ahead of time, then you're not scrambling around getting estimates after the buyer reveals these problems. I've been using this for about 30, almost 31 years, and it works so well. Buyers love it. I actually have a video about that. It's called, just go to prehouseinspection.com and you can get the whole video about that. And I'll also put the link down below there. Next, you hire an expert realtor. In my book, teaches you how to hire a realtor. I'm also going to do another whole video about that. Someone who can consider all the factors, not just comparable sales. You don't want to just look at that. You want to look at market trends, buyer preferences, property condition, and the unique features that set your home apart from the other homes. And then create a customized marketing strategy designed to create the maximum demand for your specific property. That's how you drive prices higher through competition. That's how you do it. It's called FOMO, the fear of missing out. So understand this, guys. Proper pricing is just not about, what's inside your home. I have this lovely thing in my house. It doesn't matter. It's a bigger picture. And a listing expert like myself, a top producer, doesn't just pull recent comparable sales and call it a day. No, we're going to consider market demand. Are buyers currently competing for homes like yours, or is the inventory high? What's the timing like? We're going to look at upgrades and the unique features that you have. Do you have a custom-built patio or energy-efficient windows? A computer algorithm doesn't know that, right? Buyers do. Buyers love looking at the neighborhood, the lifestyle appeal. How close is it to these top schools and restaurants and parks? Comps won't even reflect that. And most importantly, buyer psychology. You can't forget about that. When you price it strategically, it creates urgency and drives up multiple offers. And that leads to what? A higher sale price, right? So consider all these things when looking at your home's value, and hire an expert marketer and an expert realtor who is good at marketing and negotiating. That's important. Get your home pre-inspected, fix those things before the buyer finds them, do your room-by-room review, get your list, find out what pluses and minuses that you have, how many check marks that you have, do your strategic photography, make sure that the photos make the buyers fall in love with your home. Pinpoint pricing, no guesswork, just market smart strategy. And then you have your Saturday showings, creating the urgency and demand. And then at the end, once you get all your offers in and the agreement of sale is done, you're on your way to celebration day. You get all the support from your closing team to make sure it actually goes to settlement. So the real question is, do you want to gamble with your home's value, or do you want to win? And clicking that button, how much is my home worth, is not going to do it. But what is learning how successful listing agents actually work. Not all agents are created equal. Some are lead hungry by chasing new business. Others are based on referral. That's how I choose to work. Because of the results I get, my clients introduce me to the friends and family member because they're extraordinarily happy with the results. And they introduce me people even before the transaction's over. So hire somebody with a strong referral business. Hire someone who follows a systematic, a proven approach. They don't just wing it. Make sure they use some type of strategy to maximize the value. And don't waste your time with those generic home valuation tools. And make sure you're working with somebody who's keeping seller's equity intact, which is your equity. Watch out that they're not trying to just sell your home fast so they can get paid. But they're honestly excited about getting you the highest price possible, and they show you other people that you've done it for. Have them show you listings that the price was here and they got that over and over again. My listings last year, I was 8% over market value over the 50 plus homes that I sold. And if you need a proven professional in your area, I can help you find somebody through my referral process. So before you ask, what's my home worth? Ask yourself, who am I trusting with my biggest asset? And when it comes to selling your home, I think you deserve more than just a quick sale. You deserve a strategy. You want to maximize your profit. You want to minimize your stress. You want to make sure you have no regrets. And that's where a top listing agent like myself comes in. Because like I said before, if you got the right strategy and got the right timing, it can make a huge difference in the amount of money that you walk out the door with, that you bring to your next destination. That's why it's so important to start this home selling process earlier than you think, because the market is shifting so quickly right now. And if you have a plan in place, it ensures you're ready to take advantage. The market right now is shifting so quickly. So make sure you're working with an expert. Avoid costly mistakes, watch out what the market's doing and the fluctuating of the market, and make sure you sell your home for the highest possible price. Do you really want to know what your home is worth, or do you really just want to get a number from Zillow? What's more important to you? Now, if you're ready to get started, just give us a call. But before you list, before you even do anything, make sure your home is fully prepared to stand out. You need to watch this video, 12 things you need in your home when selling. Here you're going to learn great essential upgrades and tips that can help you attract more buyers and sell for that top dollar. Easy fixes. These 12 things, they can give your home the competitive edge. So whether you're just getting started or you're ready to sell right now, this video, must watch. Watch it now, get your home ready to shine in the market.